Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. We're up in Toronto, Canada for the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo. This is the second year of the show, and the show has almost doubled in size. The crowds look awesome outside. We're gonna go inside and look at some really cool animals. You're watching SnakeBytes. What's cool about the reptile shows up in Canada is it's not all about reptiles. As a matter of fact, I saw this animal. It's actually a short-tailed possum, and it's just such a little cute little guy. These guys are from Brazil, and they're actually carnivorous. They'll do really well on high-end cat food and stuff like that. What's cool about these guys is they're pouchless marsupials, and actually it's a little feisty right now, but you can see the little bugger has such cool eyes and stuff like that, and actually it has a prehensile tail too, so it'll actually hang. I don't know if we can get it to do it right now, but I tell you what, this is a pretty cool animal you're not going to see at all reptile shows. What we have here is a jeweled lacerda. These guys are definitely really interesting and something that I don't think I've ever seen at any reptile show. They're actually a European lizard, and this is actually a male that's full grown. They're completely insectivores, and what's really interesting is during the breeding season, all the blues in these guys will actually get super neon colored and super beautiful. They're not so much a handling lizard, but really an incredible terrarium animal, something that I have to showcase for you guys. What we have here is an orange-eyed crocodile skink from New Guinea. What's interesting is up until 8 or 9 years ago, they actually thought these guys were extinct, and they actually only have one egg at a time, and believe it or not, they can retain sperm for up to 5 years. They're sexually dimorphic, which means the male will get slightly larger, and how you can tell it's a male is they actually will have a little belly button, which is pretty cool. These guys are also one of the few lizards that have vocal cords, and they'll actually talk back and forth to one another.
All right, guys, it's Cal's Question of the Week. As you all know, we're at the Canadian Reptile Show, and I'm Canadian, so I can go on and on about how great my country is. We got sweet-looking Monopoly money, we're the second largest country in the world, and of course, we're the best hockey players ever. I want to know from you guys, what makes for you stay great? Text or video comment below, let me know. Represent.
For all you guys that always complain about me not doing enough boas, I was walking around and saw these blood boas, and they've been around for a while, but I gotta tell you, this particular blood boa is one of the prettiest ones I've ever seen. It's a recessive trait, and they're actually a smaller boa constrictor. They're from Costa Rica, and they really max out at about 5 feet or so, but I'm gotta tell you, this thing is outrageous looking. We're here at Northern Geckos, and they have some incredible geckos here, but this animal in particular really caught my eye. This is a Lychee. It's the largest gecko in the world, and it actually gets about a pound, and as you can see, they're just truly amazing animals. They actually are very low reproductive cycles, with sometimes not producing all in a year, or at most having 3 clutches of 2 eggs. Their incubation time can be anywhere from 4 to 6 months, so these guys are definitely not something for the beginner, but certainly an awesome advanced collector animal. Still here at Northern Geckos, they have these Rhacodactylus chihuahuas, which are really incredible, and as you can see, they really jump a lot. They come from New Caledonia, just like the Lychee, but as you can see, these guys actually are a little bit smaller. They stay a little bit lower in the canopies, and you can see the camouflage really blends in well with the leaves and the bark and so on like that. They also eat a little bit more insects than the Lychee, and the reproduction rate is pretty similar, so you're definitely not going to see a whole lot of these guys, and this is truly one of the most incredible specimens that I've ever seen, and a handful at that. You guys know that I love carpet pythons and any Australian python, even though this is actually an Irian Jaya phase. It's actually a Granik carpet python. Again, they're from Irian Jaya. They stay a little smaller than some of the coastal carpet pythons, but it's a recessive mutation, and some of them have even been taken into jaguar morphs now, and the jag granites are absolutely ridiculous. But as you can see, this guy's a little feisty, but man, is this thing a beautiful animal.
This is Terry Armstrong here with the Canadian Mouse Man. Because Brian is a big chicken and he's too afraid to hold a tarantula, what I have in my hands here is a Chalene rosehair tarantula. he's spinning web all over my hand. Pretty cool. And one interesting thing about these guys is they have a weird defense mechanism. They can flick hairs. They're called urticating hairs, and basically if you get flicked, let's say on your hand, you touch your face, it'll cause a huge rash, which is not good. And if it gets in the mucous membrane of any animal, it could potentially kill or blind it. So these guys are really cool and good first pet. Hey, I'm just here with Ellie and Sarah, and they're doing something really, really cool. They're raising money for blue iguanas to be saved from extinction.
So just hit up blueiguana.ky and just check out all the information on there, and you can just see how we're trying to save these little guys from going extinct.
You guys know that I'm huge on scaleless snakes, like scaleless corn snakes and scaleless rat snakes. So when I was walking around the show and actually came across the scaleless bearded dragon, they call them silkies, you knew it was going to be one of my favorite animals, and I have to share it with you guys. This is actually a super form from what they call leatherbacks, and they're actually really cool animals. They do have a little problem with shedding, but other than that, they're really fantastic animals. This is the legendary Gila Monster. It's actually one of only 2 venomous lizards in existence. What's interesting about these guys is they actually don't have venom injection teeth. They actually bite you and grind into you, and they actually have advanced saliva glands that actually have venom in them. Now these guys really aren't deadly, but I tell you what, if this guy actually got a hold of me, I would definitely not be feeling good for a while. You get a lot of swelling and definitely probably a trip to the hospital, a few bad days. These are indigenous to the Southwest United States. They're egg layers, and in the wild they actually eat a lot of eggs. You aren't going to see too many of them out there at all because they really spend most of their time underground. It's just an amazing animal, and its close relative is the beaded lizard, which is from Mexico, which gets much larger but isn't nearly as colorful as these Gila monsters. I tell you what, these guys are just awesome to hold, but definitely something you don't want to mess with unless you really have experience. For this week's Comment of the Week on the Eat My Butt episode, the question was, what summer movies did you love or hate? And Heretic98 said,
I'm not sure what the best movie was this year, but the worst had to be The Expandable. It was like watching cheese be made. Seriously, the movie was so cheesy the cheese was oozing from the movie projector.
Yeah, I didn't see The Expendables, but I absolutely love the cheese oozing from the movie projector comment. You guys keep sending me creative comments. I'm going to feature you on a future episode. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and got a chance to look at some awesome animals up here in Canada. I'm always super impressed by the attention to detail that these guys pay to their display, not to mention the passion that they have for their animals. If you guys want to check out the Canadian reptile scene, make sure to go to reptilescanada.com. It's a cool forum with a lot of cool people in it. Until next time, this has been Snake Bites.